and welcome to our Israel News Talk radio special on Women of Strength. I am here with Sherri Mandell, who is the mother of Koby Mandell, who 19 years ago was murdered by terrorists in Israel. And since that murder, she's used her grief to give strength and comfort to others through becoming a grief counselor, writing books. You have a few books, Sherri: The Blessing of a Broken Heart, The Road to Resilience, which I have read and is very powerful, and a children's book called The Elephant in the Sukkah. And you established the Koby Mandell Foundation, which runs healing programs for other families in Israel who have been directly affected by terror. And, as I try to think about the kind of grief you must have gone through after Koby's death, it's just so hard for me to even wrap my mind around it. And yet you've been so successful in taking that grief and using it as a tool to empower you and give so much strength to others. I know this has been a long road, but how have you been able to do this? How have you taken the grief from the death of your son and enabled it to empower you for yourself and to be able to give so much to others?
I think I had to, in a way, because the pain can be power, and the pain was so intense. Koby's yahrzeit was on Friday, this past Friday, and it's still so painful. But I don't use the word lucky, we were fortunate that we were surrounded by a community. And that's one of the steps in my book, The Road to Resilience. But people gave us a lot. They gave us a lot of comfort. They helped us cook meals and take care of kids, and they were there for us. And I also had friends who helped me emotionally. Like one of my friends was a grief counselor, and she did massage. Another friend did EMDR. And we ended up being able to take the help we received, and to give it to others. Because I think when you receive a lot, it's natural to want to give it. Also, we saw our kids, and our children were very young when Koby was my oldest. So he would be 33 now, and almost 33. And we saw our other children. They were really hurt, but they couldn't really show it to their friends, and their teachers could help them, but they were isolated, I think, in their pain. And children become silent victims in families like ours. So we realized that we wanted to create a place where they would feel free to be happy, but also to be with other kids who understood what it meant to deal with not just loss, but death. To have death in your life as a child changes you.
Absolutely. So would you say, especially you're talking about there's this foundation you created to help other families, in the process of your own family healing from this tragedy, part of the process was reaching out to help others who also needed healing. And in the process, do you find you were also, so to speak, helped with your own healing process?
Definitely. I needed to be with other people in loss, because I felt like I had lost the normal world, the regular world, that wasn't available to me anymore. And a lot of things just fell away that had given my life meaning. And the only thing that gave my life meaning was my family and Yiddishkeit, and also being able to give. And I just feel like Hashem made us shlichim, he made us messengers, because there was a need for this camp. And at first, the camp was only for terror victims. The camp has been also going on for 19 years. It's a sleepaway camp. It was only for terror victims in the beginning. Somebody whose parent or sibling had died, been murdered. And recently, we've opened it up to other tragedies. So we have bereaved kids because of all sorts of reasons. And it's like a secret society, because people look at the children and you can't tell that anything is different about them. But when they're together, then they feel free to share, and they feel free to be happy. Like we have counselors who say Camp Koby is the happiest place in the world.
Wow. So finding happiness within that pain. But again, it's from the power of being with others that you feel like can really understand what you're going through.
Yeah, but it's not happiness within the pain. It's happiness on the other side of the pain, because the pain is there. The pain is always going to be there. But you can sometimes, like, I can think of it as like the pain is rooted in the ground, but you can grow very high from it because you need that happiness. When you feel that happiness, you appreciate it because you know how vulnerable we are. So feeling that happiness, it's like, I think it's almost like a truer kind of happiness because it contains its opposite.
Now, I've heard from some people, they almost feel, how can I feel happy if I have all this pain? And it sounds like you're saying you really can have both at the same time. They almost, I've heard before, a guilt that people would feel of, how could I actually be enjoying myself right now? I'm still in pain. But at the same time, it sounds like you're saying you can really have both and you need both.
Well, I think it's hard to have both, but when you recognize that they are like siblings, they're not, they don't contradict each other. They come together because every happiness contains a sadness. And I think every sadness also contains some kind of happiness. I mean, it sounds kind of sadistic, but there's a merging, let's say.
That's very powerful, and that's very true. And I'm sure your recognition has helped you overcome the way you have, because I think there's so often you hear, and understandably so, when a person's gone through some sort of a tragedy, they just shut down from it. And at the same time, it sounds like you've taken the pain that you experience that's real, and it ignited you into action and into so much growth.
Yeah,
how do you explain that?
How do I explain that? First of all, I don't think I've overcome my son's murder. Like, it's just, I will never overcome it. It's always there, and it's always bringing me into a place of pain. I'm not always there. We just had the Yortzeit, so it's a hard. Well, no, it's also because with the Yortzeit, usually a lot of people come and I hug everybody, and this site we didn't touch, and I felt like I just didn't get the catharsis I needed. I didn't have the connection with people that I needed. I think that I was very connected to people and that I was able to receive a lot from the community around me, and that propelled me forward. Also, I'm a writer, so I had something to do with the pain. And I think also because I'm American, and an immigrant, that I had a kind of freedom in how I chose to be, because I didn't have family here, and I didn't really know what it meant to be a terror victim, have this kind of loss. So, and also my husband, I have to say that it's really my husband and family who gave us I don't like the word strength, because I feel like it's important also to be weak. Like I think that the fact that I cried for a year basically helped me, because I went through a process, and I still go through a process. But I think it's also my husband that we faced it together, that we came very close together.
So again, even what you started out with saying, that community help, the help with friends, and the help of your husband, and also of your children, that all of that support is giving you a sense of meaning and purpose to keep on pushing forward and pushing through. But you are allowing yourself to receive that support from others instead of shutting yourself down from the help that others want to give to you. You allowed yourself to receive that help and that love and that support.
Yeah, I received it. We all did. We just received a tremendous amount. I think it's love. And also when you receive all that love, it's like a gift that continues. But also, there was nothing for kids then. There was no camp for bereaved children, and our kids needed it.
But again, this is a powerful, what you're sharing with us is so powerful, that what you recognized you needed, it enabled you to create a mission and fulfill that for yourself, but also for others who are going through a bereavement process.
Yeah, we also did it for bereaved mothers and widows, because one day I met Rena. Koby was killed with Yosef Ishran. They were both in 8th grade. And I saw his mother one day in the first year, and I said, how are you doing? How are you? And she was like, I just need some time for myself. And when she said that, I thought, yeah, what a great idea. We'll do a retreat for bereaved mothers. So I was able to take the friends who had helped me, and we created this women's healing retreat. And we've been doing it really for the past 19 years, where we have different retreats for widows and bereaved mothers, 2-day retreats.
Wow.
But I needed them, and Rena needed them. So we created it.
But do you feel to an extent that when you were doing, again, taking action for what you needed, but you were doing it and expanding it to others, that almost created, beyond helping yourself as a mission, do you think that helped give you the strength that you've continued to have?
Definitely, because also I spoke terrible Hebrew. My Hebrew still isn't great. I didn't really consider myself so Israeli. And then all of a sudden I was working with all these Israeli women and children, and these mothers, I learned so much from them, the Israeli mothers. And being able to create this space for healing was really a kind of like miracle, I think. That it definitely helped me.
And this idea of what you're talking about, creating a space for healing, I think that is exactly what your mission has been for yourself, and to create that for others, and recognizing again that it's not that the pain ever goes away. That's very important, to allow yourself, as you said, to experience the pain. And at the same time, when you allow yourself to experience the pain, as I like the example you gave, that the sibling of pain is still happiness. And with that together, you can continue to live your life forward. Sherri, I want to thank you so much for joining us. Thank you for joining us on this special Israel News Talk Radio special.